read by the author, I thought, you know what? I think this will be more accessible for me at this point. I kind of wanted something that was a little bit lighter.
You're gonna cut that out anyway.
Yeah, but what if I don't? Hello and welcome to another video. If you're new here, my name is Erin and I'm so glad to have you visiting my channel today. In this video, I'm going to be revealing my February TBR. So without further ado, let's jump right into the video. If you watched my January TBR, I revealed that for Christmas, my wife Cynthia made me a reading calendar so that I have a new book each month to read and look forward to. And I also made her a reading calendar as well. So each month when I do my TBR video, I will reveal to you all what book I'll be reading in that month. I know what book is coming, but it'll still be a surprise for you all. We will start with the reading calendar, which I have dubbed the colorful ice cream cones. So for the month of February, Jane Austen's Sanditon. This is one of the incomplete works that Jane Austen wrote. The official novel of the PBS Masterpieces lavish period drama Sanditon offers a thrilling completion of Jane Austen's unfinished classic, adapted for television by Emmy and BAFTA award-winning writer Andrew Davies. I actually don't know anything about this particular manuscript of Jane Austen's, and I kind of want to go into it not knowing very much, but I'm really excited to see how the story is completed. I'm really excited to read this one. The next book is actually an audiobook that I'm going to be borrowing from the Libby app, and that is Me and White Supremacy by Layla F. Saad. And I actually started reading the physical copy of this book, I believe it was in 2021, and had borrowed it from the library at that time. And because it is a book that has sections where you are meant to do work, I believe it's a 28-day challenge. I had started reading it and working through it, and unfortunately ran out of time with borrowing it from the library and had to return it. When I saw that there was an audiobook adaptation of the book and it's read by the author, I thought, you know what? I think this will be more accessible for me at this point. And I really do love audiobooks that are read by the author because you know that it's being read in the way that they intended. So really looking forward to continuing Me and White Supremacy. And because it's been several years, I'm actually going to start the book from the beginning again. I think I made it about a quarter of the way through back in 2021, but it's been several years, so I think it's a good time to restart and just give it another go. The next book that I am wanting to read in the month of February is Convenience Store Woman by Sayaka Murata. This book I have seen recommended online because I read some heavier books in the month of January. I kind of wanted something that was a little bit lighter, and this one came up as a suggestion for, a more lighthearted read. So I don't know too much about the plot, but I'm okay with that because it is such a short book and I don't want there to be too many spoilers. The next few books are actually children's books, and one of the goals that I have for 2024 is to continue learning French on my own. I've not learned French formally, and I started learning on my own a few years ago, but then kind of fell off track with my progress and just started it up again this year. And I realized recently that the library has bilingual books in English and in French. And because my vocabulary is quite limited and the sentence structure level that I'm at is also very simple, I feel that children's books are going to be a really good place for me to start reading more in French and get more practice with reading. I have several books, and they're all children's books. Some of them are exclusively in French, and some of them have English as well as French. I believe this one is exclusively in French. I haven't looked through this one yet. It looks like it's exclusively in French. This one I actually just picked up from the library today, and it occurred to me when I saw at the library they had a Lunar New Year display, and this year it's the year of the dragon, and this book is about a dragon, and it's written in both English and French, so this one feels very fitting for the Lunar New Year, and I'm really excited to read this one. I will have a dictionary when I'm reading some of these books because, again, I'm building my vocabulary, but I know that cheval means horse. And then this one, I believe, is The Infants of the River, or The Children of the River. And then this one, I don't know what this word is. I will have to look that up. But the history of, and this is dog, but I don't know what this means, of Mongolia. So again, something to look forward to and gain practice. The next book that I wanted to talk about is actually a book that I had put on my January TBR, and I finished it on February 3rd. So I guess it kind of counts towards what I read in the month of February, even though I started it in January. And that is Demon Copperhead by Barbara Kingsolver. This was an excellent book. It was 5 stars for me. I enjoyed it so much that I feel I will probably do a deeper dive video on it as a standalone book at some point. But yes, if you haven't read Demon Copperhead, I highly, highly recommend that you check it out. The next book is also another carryover from my January TBR, and that is Virginia Woolf's To the Lighthouse. I am almost a quarter of the way through this one. This one, while it's not a very long book, it takes a little bit longer to read. And I feel also personally, when I read a Virginia Woolf book, it takes me a few chapters to become accustomed once again to Virginia Woolf's writing. In this book in particular, the narrator is jumping from one character perspective to another, at least in the first part. And from what I know, the second part of the story, the perspective changes again. And so it's been a little bit of a slower read for me. I am enjoying it, and the writing is just so unique. I know why Virginia Woolf has continued to be a popular author. She just has such a unique style of writing and a unique way of exploring different topics. It's a thinker, for lack of a better description. So I'm planning to finish this one in the month of February, even though it's technically one of my January books. And one more leftover book from my January TBR, which I actually didn't even begin, is Like Water for Chocolate by Laura Esquivel. And I feel bad that I didn't get to this one, but to be fair towards myself, January was a little bit of a challenging month, and so I didn't read quite as much as I had thought that I might. And I've heard so many wonderful things about this book, so I don't want to skip over this one, and that's why I'm forwarding it to my February TBR. And actually, I feel like because this book follows a character who is in love with another character, but from what I understand, her mother doesn't allow her to fall in love, or not that she doesn't allow her to fall in love, but she doesn't allow her to marry this man. So it's this unrequited love. I feel like this will be a really good one to read in the month of February. The last section of books is the if I have time category. And I can't help myself. I know roughly how long it takes me to read books. I'm not the fastest reader. I would say I'm pretty average when it comes to my reading speed. And I can't help myself. Every time I make a TBR, I end up selecting far more books than what I could realistically read in a certain amount of time. And I don't know why I do that. Does anybody else do that? It's like you don't want to leave a book like off your list for one reason or another. But these books are ones that I stumbled upon in the library and would really, really like to read if I have the time this month. The first one is The Bone Season by Samantha Shannon. So if you're familiar with The Priory of the Orange Tree, same author. This, I believe, was her very first book. Now, this is the 10th anniversary special edition. After, gaining more experience as a writer over her career, she realized that she could go back and do a better, I don't remember how she said it exactly, but basically she wanted to revisit this book and update it because she felt like with her experience over the last decade, she could write an even better version of the story. And so this is a fully revised version of The Bone Season, and this is part of a series, and so she's also going through and fully revising the other books in the same series, because obviously if they aren't revised, then there are going to be some things that don't make sense with this revised version. And I really admire that as an author who has had great success in her career thus far, 10 years after her debut novel, is like, you know what? I can do better now because I know more and I have more experience, so I'm going to do it. I think that is just so neat, and I am really excited to read this book. It just sounds amazing. The year is 2059. For 2 centuries, the Republic of Sion has led an oppressive campaign against unnaturalness in Europe. In London, Paige Mahoney holds a high rank in the criminal underworld. The right hand of the ruthless White Bender, Paige is a dream walker, a rare and formidable kind of clairvoyant. Under Scion law, she commits treason simply by breathing. So this sounds so cool, and I want to read more fantasy this year. Hopefully I will have time to read The Bone Season. And the last book on my February TBR, if I have time to read it, is The House in the Cerulean Sea by T.J. Klune. I stumbled upon this one in the library today and had to pick it up because it's one that I've been wanting to read. It really sounds like a book that I will just love. And so I saw it on the shelf and couldn't leave it at the library. So here we are. It's decently long, so with my other stack of books that I'm planning to read in the month of February, we'll see if we get to this one. Otherwise, it will be forwarded to the month of March. And that is my TBR for the month of February. I am really excited to read some lighter-hearted books this month, and hopefully some fantasy books as well, and just start to feel like I'm warming up for springtime. Since I live here in the Northern Hemisphere, I'd be curious to know, what are some of the books that you're hoping to read in the month of February? If you feel comfortable, please share those down in the comments, and we can inspire one another with the books that we're hoping to read this month. Thank you so much again for watching this video. If you liked it, it would really mean a lot if you gave it a thumbs up. And until next time, I hope you have a lovely and cozy book to curl up with. Bye-bye.